The whole nightmare started in less than 3 minutes. 3 minutes of jaw-dropping chaos that made people stop in their tracks. Imagine this, a decorated veteran. Still young but bound to a wheelchair after serving his country. Left momentarily outside a grocery store, and Karen swooped in like a vulture. Can you even believe it? She grabbed his wheelchair, muttered something about deserving it more, and waddled away while the poor man collapsed onto the pavement. The sound of his body hitting the concrete. God, it was like a crack that silenced everything around. Bags of groceries scattered. Cans rolling. His service dog barking in a frenzy. People gasped. Oh my God, what is she doing? One woman shouted, her voice shrill. But Karen just kept pushing the wheelchair with this smug little huff. Her heels clacking like a bad drumbeat. I was there. Right there. And I swear my heart jumped into my throat. The veteran, Michael, groaned, his knuckles scraping against the ground as he tried to lift himself. He whispered, broken and breathless, my chair. Please, stop her. The desperation in his voice sliced through the air like a knife. His dog whimpered, pulling at the leash, trying to drag the man up. And Karen, she spun around, hair flying, and sneered. He doesn't need it the way I do. Look at me. I'm overweight. I need wheels more than he does. You people just don't understand. The audacity. Can you hear it? People froze. Nobody wanted to believe a human being could be this cruel. This ridiculous. Lady, that's his only way of moving. He's a veteran. Someone yelled from the crowd. Karen's face flushed crimson, her nostrils flaring like a bull ready to charge. Don't tell me what to do. The ADA doesn't own me. She snapped, spitting the words like venom. I swear my fists clenched so hard my nails dug into my palms. I wanted to scream at her. Instead, I crouched down to Michael, who was trembling, sweat dripping down his forehead. Don't worry. We'll get it back, I said, my voice shaking. But Karen wasn't finished. Oh no. She plopped herself into the stolen wheelchair with a loud umph and actually started wheeling herself away. The metal creaked under her weight, squealing like it was crying out against her. And the look she gave, pure arrogance. See, fits me better already, she said with this disgusting laugh. The crowd erupted. Phones came out, people recording. One teenager shouted, "This is going viral." Another whispered, "What's wrong with her?" And that's when the sound of sirens cracked the tension like thunder. Wailing, sharp, slicing through the murmurs. Everyone turned. Police cruiser screeched into the lot, tires grinding, lights flashing red blue across the stunned faces. Karen froze mid-roll, her smug grin faltering. Her little show just met its final act. The officer stepped out, broad shoulders, calm but razor-sharp eyes. His badge gleamed in the sun. "Ma'am," he said slowly, his voice steady like stone. "Step out of the wheelchair." Karen scoffed, lifting her chin. "This is my chair now. I'm disabled too. Just bigger. They never make enough chairs for people my size." Her words cracked with this bizarre mix of defiance and desperation. Michael's voice, weak but fierce, cut across the lot. "That's my chair. That's my freedom. You don't get to take it." He tried to push himself up again, his arms trembling, veins bulging, but his body gave out. He crashed back, gasping in pain. His dog barked again, frantic. People shouted, "Help him! Give it back!" The officer's jaw tightened. He stepped closer, his boots echoing like warning shots. "Ma'am, last chance. Step out of the chair." Karen's face twisted. And then, God help me, she tried to wheel faster, jerking the wheels with panicked strength, squealing like she could somehow outrun the law in a grocery store parking lot. People actually laughed in disbelief, their gasps turning into nervous chuckles. But the officer lunged. In one smooth move, he grabbed the handles of the chair, locking it in place. The screech of rubber on asphalt echoed and Karen shrieked. "Let me go. I need it. He can crawl. He's used to it." The crowd erupted in outrage. "You monster!" Someone screamed. "Shame on you." My chest burned with fury. How could anyone be this vile? And then, here's the twist no one saw coming. The officer leaned in close and whispered something that made Karen's face drain of color. He said, "I know exactly who you are. And you're already on probation, aren't you?" The crowd gasped. Phones zoomed in closer. Karen stammered, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. And no, that was a misunderstanding. But it wasn't. Turns out Karen had been caught last year shoplifting mobility scooters from a medical supply store. She had a record, a whole ugly file. And here she was again, caught on camera, stealing a veteran's only lifeline. The officer yanked her up from the chair. She flailed, screeching, her voice breaking like glass. "You can't do this. I'm a victim too. I have needs." The crowd booed. Actually booed, like it was a rotten stage performance. Some clapped. Some shouted, "Justice." Michael's eyes welled with tears as the chair was rolled back to him. His hands shook when he gripped the arms, pulling himself back onto it with what little strength he had left. The sigh he let out, deep, broken, but filled with relief. God, it was like the air finally returned to all of us. His dog pressed its head against his lap, tail wagging wildly, whining with joy. Karen, meanwhile, was shoved against the cruiser, her hands cuffed, metal clicking sharp and merciless. She howled, "This is discrimination. I'm the one who's oppressed here. He's just faking it for sympathy." The crowd roared in fury. "Shut up. You're disgusting. He fought for this country." The officer didn't even flinch. He opened the back door, pushed her inside. The slam of that door. It was poetic, like the punctuation mark to a crime she could never weasel out of. But here's the part that really broke me. Michael looked at the officer, voice low, almost trembling. "Thank you. I thought I'd lost it forever." And the officer knelt slightly, placing a firm hand on the chair. "You're safe now, sir. We'll make sure she answers for this." The sun hit Michael's face then, sweat glistening, tears shining in his eyes, and for just a moment, silence. Absolute silence. Then the applause came, wave after wave, clapping, cheering, voices rising. People shouted, "Hero!" But this time, they weren't just talking about Michael's service. They meant surviving this humiliation with dignity. Karen. She sat caged in the cruiser, her screams muffled now, just a pathetic echo behind glass. And me, I stood there, my chest pounding, thinking, was this real life? Did we just witness the ugliest theft imaginable turn into a public reckoning? But life, oh, life has its way of adding final twists. Later, we found out that because of her probation violation, Karen wasn't just facing theft charges. She was looking at actual jail time, a bitter, ugly ending that she carved with her own greed. Meanwhile, Michael received more than his wheelchair back. Strangers online, touched by the video, raised thousands for him. He got a brand new, custom motorized chair, gifts for his service dog, even home renovations to make his life easier. Karma worked fast. So fast it made me dizzy. And to this day, I can still hear it. That mix of Karen's shrieks fading behind police glass and Michael's sigh of relief as he settled back into his chair. Two sounds, colliding in my memory. One bitter, one beautiful. And honestly, isn't that justice? Thank you for listening, and if this story shook you the way it shook me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel for more jaw-dropping real-life dramas. I never thought an HOA meeting could turn into something straight out of a courtroom drama, but that night, Oh, that night changed everything. Karen, our self-appointed neighborhood tyrant, was already red in the face when she stomped into the community hall. But I swear the sound of her heels was sharper than her voice. You know that click, click, click on polished tile that just screams, "Here comes trouble?" Yeah. That. You think you can just fire me without consequences? She snapped at the HR rep from our HOA's management company, her voice slicing through the murmurs in the room. My stomach tightened instantly. I'd been through months of her harassment, false fines, anonymous complaints, and threats about my yard being non-compliant. And now, I was watching her melt down in real time. She'd been let go earlier that week after HR found serious irregularities in HOA invoices. Let's be real, irregularities was just the polite word for it. We're talking forged signatures, inflated vendor payments, and get this, charging us twice for landscaping that never even happened. Fraud. Straight up fraud. And the kicker? She'd been skimming from the budget for years, hiding it behind emergency repairs. I was already ready to give my statement if it came to that. But I had no idea how fast this was about to spiral. Karen's voice dropped, all icy now. You people think you're clever, but you forget I know where the bodies are buried. The HR rep didn't flinch. Karen, we've concluded our investigation. Your termination is final. And given the evidence, our legal department will be in touch. Her eyes snapped to me. And you? She hissed, jabbing a finger in my direction. Don't think I don't know you're behind this. Feeding them lies about me, costing me my job. You're nothing but. I swear I didn't even see it coming. 1 second she's mid-insult, the next bang. Something hard and cold slammed into the side of my head. My ears rang. My vision blurred. I looked down, a stapler. Not a little handheld one either, but one of those big, heavy-duty, office-grade beasts. Gasps exploded around the room. Someone shouted, "Call 911. Another voice shaky said, "Oh my God. She just assaulted him." Karen just stood there, breathing hard. Her face twisted like she didn't even recognize what she'd done. "He deserved it," she spat. "All of you are going to regret this." I pressed my hand to the side of my head. Warmth. Sticky. Great. Blood. By the time the police showed up, sirens cutting through the humid summer night, Karen had gone from defiant to screeching about conspiracies. "You're all in on it. This is harassment. This is a setup." She was cuffed right there in the meeting hall, still yelling over her shoulder as they walked her out. I thought that was it. Justice had finally shown up early for once. But oh no, that was just the opening act. 2 days later I get a letter. Not from the HOA, from her lawyer. She was suing me. I actually laughed out loud at first. It was that or scream. Her claim? Defamation of character and emotional distress. She even claimed I'd provoked her in front of witnesses and that I'd been spreading falsehoods to ruin her reputation. Except here's the thing, her evidence packet was full of forged emails, supposedly from me to other residents, calling her names and making threats. But the fonts didn't match. The timestamps were impossible. And one of the emails was dated for a day I'd been out of the country, complete with a boarding pass to prove it. I sat there, holding that stack of fake screenshots, and I swear my hands were shaking, but not from fear. No, this was rage. I wasn't about to just defend myself. I was going to burn her entire scheme down. My lawyer Jeff nearly whistled when I showed him the forgeries. This is textbook. We're talking not just perjury if she submits this in court, but criminal fraud. You sure you're ready to go all the way with this? I nodded. Oh, I'm ready. Court day came faster than I expected. The air inside that municipal building was stale, heavy with that faint scent of copier toner and floor wax. Karen walked in wearing a crisp white blazer, like she thought she was the wronged party in some high-profile Netflix docuseries. She wouldn't even look at me probably because the side of my head still had a healing scar from where the stapler hit. Her lawyer went first, painting her as a respected former HOA board member, wrongfully terminated due to unfounded accusations. My jaw clenched so hard I thought my teeth might crack. Then came the emails. The smoking gun. I almost felt sorry for the poor guy when Jeff stood up for cross-examination. Almost. "Ms. Carter," Jeff said, his tone smooth as glass. Could you explain why one of these emails is dated February 29th, 2023? You're aware there was no leap day that year. The room went dead silent. Karen's mouth opened, closed, opened again. It must have been a typo. Oh, so it's a typo, Jeff nodded. And this one, he held up another page, is from an email address that my client never owned. We've already subpoenaed the ISP, and the account was created 2 weeks after this alleged message was sent. Care to explain that, too? Her lawyer shifted uncomfortably. Karen's face flushed deep crimson. And that's when Jeff dropped the real hammer. We also have a sworn statement from an IT contractor, he continued, confirming that the metadata on these documents shows they were generated from your personal laptop, which, by the way, was seized by police as part of the assault investigation. There was an audible gasp from the spectators. I swear I heard someone mutter, "Oh, she's done." Karen's hand flew to her mouth. "That's a lie," she shouted, standing so fast her chair clattered backward. "This is all lies." The judge banged her gavel. "Ms. Carter, sit down. Now." By the time court adjourned, the defamation suit had been tossed. But that wasn't all. Karen was now facing additional charges for submitting falsified evidence. Workplace assault, fraud, forgery, the list was getting long. Walking out of that courtroom, the summer air hit me like a fresh breath after months underwater. My head still ached sometimes when I chewed, and the HOA would be untangling her financial mess for years, but I'd watched her smug power crumble right in front of her. The part she didn't know? I'd just been contacted by the DA's office. They wanted me as a witness in the criminal trial. And oh, I was ready. The criminal trial was like watching the last act of a slow-motion car crash. You knew the wreck was coming, but you couldn't look away. Karen shuffled in wearing a county-issue beige sweater, her hair pulled back so tight it looked like it hurt. Gone was the white blazer and fake confidence. She looked small. Not sorry. Mind you, Karen wasn't capable of that, but cornered. The prosecution laid it all out. The forged emails, the inflated vendor contracts, the double billing for repairs that never happened. And, of course, the night she turned a stapler into a weapon. When the IT forensic expert took the stand, he pulled up her laptop's file directory for the jury. Every forged email she'd claimed came from me, sitting right there in her drafts folder. Some of them were even labeled HOA fake final, like she thought she was producing a school project. Her lawyer kept trying to spin it. She was under extreme emotional distress. She feared for her livelihood, but every excuse just made her look guiltier. And then came the witness I wasn't expecting, Paul from HR. Calm, precise, and armed with a signed confession Karen had given him months earlier when she thought she could negotiate her way out of termination. It was like watching someone hand the jury the last puzzle piece. The jury didn't even take 3 hours. Guilty. On all counts. When the judge read the sentence, 18 months in county jail, restitution to the HOA, and a 5-year ban from serving on any HOA board, you could see the fight leave her. Her shoulders sagged. Her hands trembled just enough to make the cuffs rattle. I thought that would be the end, but Karen had one more bitter twist coming. See, in civil court, the HOA had filed their own lawsuit to recover the stolen funds, and thanks to her criminal conviction, there was no way for her to dodge liability. Not only was she losing her freedom, she was losing her house. The same house where she'd lorded her fake authority over all of us for years? It was going to be sold off to pay back the neighbors she'd been bleeding dry. The day the moving truck pulled up to her driveway, I didn't even have to go look, but I did. Just for closure. She stood on her porch, clutching a box of mismatched kitchenware, glaring at anyone who dared meet her eyes. But there was nothing left to throw.
No staples.
No power. I turned to walk away, feeling lighter than I had in years. Not because I'd won anything, but because the neighborhood was finally free of her chaos. And if there's one thing I learned through all of this, it's that bullies like Karen count on people staying quiet. The second you shine a light on their lies, whether it's fraud, forged evidence, or full-blown assault, their empire crumbles faster than they ever thought possible. If you want more real-life drama, outrageous twists, and satisfying lawsuit showdowns like this one, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for the next jaw-dropping case. I had never seen chaos spark so fast in such a calm place. 1 minute. The cafe was buzzing with the soft hum of conversation. The clinking of spoons against coffee mugs. The shuffle of feet on tile floors. And the next. Karen's shrill voice cut through it like a knife. She was screaming about her seat. A chair. Mind you, not reserved. Not labeled. Just a normal cafe chair. And she was losing her absolute mind because a worker had sat there for a quick break. Can you even imagine? Her voice echoed so loudly that even the barista froze mid-pour. Latte art turning into a swirl of confusion. People turned. Necks craning. Phones discreetly lifted. And me. I was sitting 2 tables away, watching in disbelief. My first thought was, oh no. Not again. Another Karen meltdown right in public. But what unfolded went far beyond the usual entitled tantrum. Karen jabbed her manicured finger toward the young worker. A guy in his 20s with a tired but kind face. Probably on his 10-minute break. That's my seat. I sit there every single day. How dare you take it from me? Her voice rattled the glass windows. The worker blinked, clearly startled, then tried to explain. Ma'am, this isn't a reserved spot. Oh, don't you start with me. She snapped, cutting him off like his words were poison. I know my rights. I pay good money here every week. You think you can just disrespect me like that? Good money. Over a chair. I had to press my lips together to stop myself from laughing out loud. People pay for coffee, not furniture ownership. But Karen's face was twisted, her eyes blazing like she had been wronged on some royal level. The poor guy just sat there, hands up, clearly debating whether it was worth standing or not. That's when the ripple of murmurs spread. People were whispering, some annoyed, some amused, others shaking their heads. Phones came out. Oh yes, you could feel it building. That electric charge in the air when everyone knows a viral moment is about to happen. Karen, however, didn't stop. She doubled down. She leaned closer to the worker, her voice going high-pitched and sharp like nails on a chalkboard. Get out of my seat now or I'll have you fired. Don't you know who I am? The worker opened his mouth. But before he could say anything, the barista stepped in, holding her hands out in a calm-down motion. Ma'am, please lower your voice. This is a shared space. No seat belongs to anyone. Karen whipped around so fast her hair almost smacked the barista in the face. Are you kidding me? You're siding with him. He's just staff. I'm the paying customer. The customer is always right. Gasped. Yes. Actual gasps came from nearby tables. I swear I saw a teenager whisper to her friend. Oh my God. This is like a real-life TikTok drama. And she wasn't wrong. The worker, bless him, finally stood up. He tried to offer the chair with a tired sigh, just to diffuse the tension. But Karen, no, that wasn't enough. She grabbed the chair like it was her throne, plopped herself down with an exaggerated huff, and announced to the entire cafe, this is my spot. Don't ever let this happen again. Silence. Awkward. Heavy silence. You could almost hear people holding their breath. For a second, I thought maybe that was the end of it. Just another Karen tantrum with the usual eye rolls. But oh, no. She wasn't done. Not even close. Because once she had the seat, she looked around like a queen surveying her kingdom, daring anyone to challenge her. Her eyes landed on me for half a second, and I swear I felt chills. She smirked, as if saying, see, I win. But the universe had other plans. Just as Karen lifted her overpriced coffee cup to her lips, a man in a navy blazer walked in. He had that look. Tall, polished, no nonsense. Security. And the way the barista's shoulders dropped in relief told me everything. Someone had called for backup. Karen spotted him and immediately puffed up like a peacock. Ah, Finally, you're here to deal with this rude employee, right? He tried to steal my seat. I demand you write him up. Fire him if you have to. The security guard's face didn't even twitch. He glanced at the worker, then at Karen, then calmly said, "Ma'am, I need you to stand up." The entire cafe froze. Karen laughed. Yes, actually laughed. "Excuse me. Did you not hear me? I'm the victim here. I was disrespected in front of everyone. And you want me to stand up?" Ah. The guard's voice was steady, low, the kind that carried weight. "You've caused a disturbance. You need to leave." Boom. Like a hammer dropping. Karen's face went from smug to horrified in a heartbeat. "What? Leave? Me? Are you insane? I didn't do anything wrong." She clutched her purse like a shield. "I'll sue this place. I'll sue you. You can't just kick me out." The murmurs turned into giggles, then into bold chuckles. People weren't even hiding their phones anymore. Cameras were aimed directly at her. She knew it too. Her eyes darted around, realizing she wasn't the hero of her story. She was the villain. But instead of stopping, she spiraled. She started stomping her feet, literally stomping, like a child in a tantrum. Her voice cracked as she yelled, "I deserve respect. I'm a loyal customer. You'll regret this." The guard didn't even flinch. He gently but firmly took her arm, guiding her out of the chair. She resisted, of course, flailing, screeching, making the most dramatic scene possible. Her purse swung dangerously close to knocking over someone's iced latte. And then, the twist. As the guard escorted her toward the door, she screamed, "You're all gonna miss me when I'm gone." But her heel caught on the rug. With a sharp yelp, she stumbled forward, almost face-planting if not for the guard's quick reflex. Gasps echoed again, but this time tinged with laughter. A few people even clapped. The look on her face, pure, bitter humiliation. Outside, you could still hear her muffled voice ranting through the glass. "I'll call corporate. You'll all regret this." But the guard calmly shut the door behind her, sealing her off from the cafe like a storm finally passing. Inside, the energy shifted instantly. A wave of relief. The barista whispered a soft thank you to the guard. The worker sat back down, this time in peace. No drama. And the customers. They erupted. Applause. Laughter. Cheers even. Someone shouted, "Best entertainment I've had all week." And me. I sat there, shaking my head with a half smile. Because isn't it wild how quickly entitlement can flip into embarrassment? How a so-called victim can expose themselves as the real problem. It was a reminder that no matter how loud someone shouts, the truth eventually cuts through. But here's the kicker. Later that evening, guess what popped up on my feed? Yep. A shaky phone video titled "Karen Freaks Out Over Cafe Seat. Gets Dragged Out by Security." Thousands of views already. Comments pouring in. Classic Karen move. I can't believe people like this exist. Justice served. The internet doesn't forget. And I couldn't help but wonder, did she watch it? Did she see herself from the outside, screaming about a chair while the world laughed? Or is she somewhere right now, still convinced she was right, plotting her next tantrum? Sigh. Either way, the ending was clear. Her power trip turned into a downfall. And the seat she fought so hard for, just another empty chair in a cafe, waiting for someone, anyone else, to sit. And that, my friends, is the story of the day Karen tried to claim a throne she never owned and ended up carried out like a bitter queen without a kingdom. Thanks for sticking with me through this wild ride. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable stories like this one. I still hear the sound of that scream in my ears. It wasn't just a kid yelling. No, it was the kind of scream that makes your spine turn cold and your stomach drop. And the craziest part, The person trying to snatch that child wasn't some shadowy stranger in an alley. It was Karen. Yes. Homeowners Association Karen. The same woman who'd spent months policing mailbox heights, measuring lawns and accusing neighbors of suspicious behavior. Only this time, she crossed a line so deep it left the entire neighborhood gasping. Picture this, Saturday afternoon. Grocery store buzzing with chatter. Squeaky carts and the hum of fluorescent lights. I was in aisle 5, grabbing pasta sauce. When it happened, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Karen standing way too close to a young mother and her daughter. A mixed-race little girl with curly hair and the sweetest pink dress. At first, I thought maybe Karen was just being her usual nosy self. But then, oh God, Karen bent down, grabbed the child's wrist and hissed, "You don't belong with her. I'm taking you somewhere safe." I froze. Did I really just hear that? My hand trembled on the jar of marinara sauce. The mother's voice cracked as she shouted, "Let go of my daughter." People turned. Shoppers stopped mid-step. The air in the store changed from ordinary noise to pure electricity. Karen dug in harder, yanking the little girl closer. The child screamed, her voice slicing through the aisle like glass shattering. "Help! Mommy! Help!" The sound broke everyone's hesitation. 2 store clerks dropped what they were doing and rushed over. One shouted, "Ma'am, let her go." Another lunged for Karen's arm. And still, unbelievably, Karen shouted back, "This child is being trafficked. I'm saving her." What? My chest tightened. I wanted to scream myself. How dare she accuse this mother in front of everyone? As if her paranoia could rewrite reality. The girl's mom, eyes wide with fury and terror, yanked her daughter free while Karen clawed and flailed. Customers circled in. Phones whipped out. Recording. Gasps filled the air. Someone yelled, "Call the police now." And another voice echoed, "She tried to kidnap that kid." I swear. Time slowed. Karen's face twisted, red with indignation, like she couldn't even comprehend why people were against her. She actually shouted, "You'll all thank me when the truth comes out." As if she was the hero. But she wasn't. She was a criminal. By the time the police stormed in, blue lights bouncing against the store windows, radios crackling, the crowd had already cornered Karen near the dairy section. 2 officers grabbed her arms, snapped on the cuffs and read her rights. And oh, the sound. That metallic click of handcuffs might have been the sweetest sound I'd heard in months. Karen tried everything. She thrashed. She screeched, "You're arresting the wrong person." Her voice cracked high and ugly, but no one bought it. Not after half the store had recorded her grabbing a child and dragging her away from her mother. The mom clutched her daughter, sobbing, whispering, "It's okay, baby. It's okay." Over and over. I caught myself biting down on my lip, fists shaking, not out of fear anymore, but anger. How many times had Karen targeted families in our neighborhood? How many times had she called police on black kids riding bikes? Or harassed couples in the park, accusing them of not belonging? And now this attempted kidnapping. The twist. When the cops searched Karen's bag. Because yes, she carried this monstrous oversized purse. They found zip ties, pepper spray, and even a folded-up safety manual she had written herself. Like she was planning this. Like she believed she was deputized by some twisted version of the Homeowners Association rules. The gasps around me were deafening. People muttered, "Oh my God. And she's insane. And she could have really hurt that child." The store manager, pale and shaking, confirmed the whole thing on camera. And here's where it got even darker. Turns out, Karen had been on a warped crusade for months. She had been telling other Homeowners Association members that suspicious children in the area were being smuggled, and she had a personal mission to protect the community. Some neighbors brushed it off as Karen being Karen. Others warned the Homeowners Association board she was dangerous. But no one thought she'd actually act. Well, she acted. And the felony charge. Kidnapping attempt. With intent. The officers' voices were firm. No nonsense. When they told her, "You're under arrest for attempted abduction of a minor." The silence after that line, it was heavy, like the whole store exhaled at once. The child buried her face in her mom's chest, trembling, while Karen's shrieks faded down the aisle as she was hauled outside. I leaned against my cart, shaking my head. Part of me wanted to collapse right there, but another part wanted to cheer. Justice had shown up fast and hard this time. But oh, it didn't end there. The video spread online like wildfire. Within hours, it had millions of views. Headlines screamed, "HOA woman arrested for attempted kidnapping in grocery store." The footage was damning. Karen gripping the girl's arm. The child's cries. The mother fighting back. Staff and customers piling in.
No editing. No misunderstanding.
Just raw, terrifying reality. Karen's Homeowners Association cronies scrambled. They tried to distance themselves. They posted statements like, "We do not condone her actions." But the damage was done. People dug into her past complaints. Her harassment. Her obsession with calling 911 on neighbors. The pattern was undeniable. And then came the lawsuit. The mother didn't just stop at pressing criminal charges. She filed civil action against Karen. Against the Homeowners Association that enabled her paranoia. Against anyone who had given Karen authority to act out her twisted fantasies. And honestly, good. About time someone flipped the script on her reign of terror. Neighbors who once whispered about Karen in fear now openly called her a disgrace. Her friends, gone. Her Homeowners Association position, terminated. Her name, forever linked to felony child abduction charges. But the most haunting moment, when I saw that little girl days later, clutching her mom's hand in the neighborhood park. She smiled weakly at me, then looked away, hiding behind her mom's leg. That innocence, nearly stolen, burned in my mind. And Karen, well, she finally got what she always threatened others with, a permanent record. Court dates and a future wrapped in legal battles she'll never win. Because this time, there was no twisting the truth. No false narrative. No way out. This time, the cameras told the story. This time, Karen's empire of paranoia collapsed under the weight of her own madness. And if you ask me, that click of handcuffs was karma's exclamation point. So here's my final word. Watch out for the Karens hiding behind fake authority. Because sometimes the most dangerous criminals don't wear masks. They wear smug smiles and Homeowners Association badges. Thanks for listening, and if you believe justice should always outshine arrogance, hit subscribe to my channel. Because the next lawsuit story might be even wilder than this one.